know how to make a buttonhole on a shirt and you have a straight sewing machine, then I would suggest you keep watching because I explained in details how to use a straight sewing machine to achieve this. So please keep watching. Hello guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. So based on our last video, I mentioned that we are going to be learning how to make a buttonhole without a buttonhole machine. And if you have any type of machine, your blackhead, your industrial straight sewing machine, then you are good to go. So what you are going to do, because we need a stiff face to enable us to make our button hole. So what you are going to do is, whether you added your gum stay or you didn't add your gum stay, so what I normally do is, if I want to make my work to be neat, I will take my gum stay, you can see here, and I will tear it like 1 inch, like so. You can see what I'm doing here. I will tear like 1 inch, like so. Then I will iron it on the material. So this will give you a guide for your marking. You can as well tear them out. So we are going to iron the face of our button. So normally for your buttonhole, it is achieved on the left side of your shirt. So once you place your shirt, you on your iron. Allow your iron to heat for a little time so that your gum stay can be able to stick to the material. So going to shift this. You can see what I'm doing here. So the shiny part of your gum stay is what you are going to put. Start here on the collar because you are going to also make a hole on the. So I'm going to repeat this. So I'm making sure that this stays in the middle. So if you're ironing, make sure that the gum stays in the middle. Always make sure that the gum stay is in the middle because that's where the button hole will be. Yeah, perfect. So once you are done, you trim out the excess stay. So make sure that everything is in line and the gum stay is not shifting. So once you are done, you remove your iron. So the next step is to bring your tape. And also you can use a pen or a pencil, but since I'm going to be removing this gum stay once I'm done, I'll be using a pen to mark it well. So here I'm going to be using 1/2 inch. So note, I'm going to be using 1/2 inch in here. So this is my 1/2 inch. Then here I will come down by 1 inch because the collar will also have a hole. So the next step for you to do is to measure the size of the button that you are going to work with. So for my case, this is the size of what I want to use, and you can see that the measurement is 1/2 inch. So always measure the size or the inch of your button before creating a buttonhole. So to avoid you making too much or too little hole for your button. So since this is 1/2 inch, we are going to create a hole of 0.75. So I'm going to measure 0.75, which is here, and I'm going to divide it by 2. So from this midpoint, from here, I'm going to mark it here and also mark it here. So I'm going to measure 1/2 inch to get the midpoint, which is this. So this now becomes where I'm going to stitch. So from this main point, I'm going to mark out my 3 inches, so which is here. You will notice that I didn't place my tape on this other line. I placed it exactly on my initial line of 1 inch. So I'm going to repeat the same process, mark out 1/2 inch to give me the midpoint, then measure 0.75. So measuring 1/2 inch will give you a line so that you will not make mistake. You sew your buttonhole here and the next one you sew it on the other side. No. So I'm going to place my tape here again. This is the midpoint, and measure 3 inches again. So I'm going to measure out again 1/2 inch, then repeat the same process to get my 0.75. So take your time to mark out this so that you will get exact results. So take your time so that you're not making any mistake. 0.75. That's the midpoint. I'm going to mark. So I'm going to continue my 3 inch here, my 0.5, then my 0.75. So I'm going to connect to this down part, and I'm also going to connect to this down part. So I'm going to repeat the same till I reach the very end where I want this buttonhole to stop. So the collar will be 1 inch. So okay, 1 inch, I'm going to divide 1 inch by 2. So I'm going to mark out this, and I'm going to mark out this. So exactly. So for the collar, this is how it will look like. If I want to sew, I will not sew using the front because there is no marking on the front. So the next step is to go to sewing machine, and I will teach you guys how to achieve your buttonhole. This is the first step, then the second step is on the sewing machine. So let's go. So the first step you have to do is to change to a matching thread. So once you are done threading your machine, so you bring your shirts. You can see what I like starting at this first one. I'm not on the collar. So here I'm going to make sure that my needle is on this line, just little space. So I'm taking my time to make sure. Okay, perfect. So I'm going to use my needle to secure. So once I'm done, please take a very closer look at what I'm doing. So I'm going to stitch here and then go back. You can stitch more than 4 times depending on what you want to achieve. So let's go. You stop exactly on the last mark. You flip. This is one. You can see what I'm doing. You flip, then you press down your needle, you continue, you stop, this is 2, you flip again, this is 3, this is 4. Another step for me to do is here. So here will be like 1, 2, 1, 1, 2, 1. I'm done. So I'm going to continue and repeat the same thing that I did on this side by running my stitches up and down into 4 places. So I'm going to start. Exactly, perfect. I'm going to flip it, this is the second one, right? Just be counting so that you will not make any mistake. This is the third one. This is the fourth one, right? So I'm going to run just 1 stitch because it's the down part I want to close. So the last one. So we are going to close this one. So take your time. Why I like using blackhead, because you can control your stitches, but if you use your industrial, you cannot control your stitches. So except you have the other type of industrial sewing machine. So you remove your excess thread. Once you remove it, you remove the initial one, and this is what we have. You can see. So we are going to repeat this process again till we are done with our buttonhole. So you use your, always use your needle to pin here. So you are going to repeat. So you can see this method, I didn't flip. Perfect. So this time around I'm going to flip it. So because I don't want too much space on my buttonhole. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Perfect. So the next one is for me to close the hole. And I am good. You remove the excess thread. So once you remove the excess thread, you can see this one is looking so cute. You can see here as well how it looks like. So we are going to continue doing this till we are done. So that's why you use your needle to hold. Just don't, make sure that the space between your needle and the first place that you marked, there is no much gap. So we are going to repeat. This one is the third one, fourth one. Perfect. So I'm going to so you can see what I'm doing here. So I'm going to close this hole. Once I'm done, I cut out the excess thread. So you are going to repeat this to the very end. With this, we are done with this. So you can see how it's looking, you can see the outside, you can see how super neat it looks like. So you can see the whole thing here. So the last one is this, is on the collar. So you're going to repeat the same thing that you did. You use your pin to secure where you want to start, then you pin it, you continue running your stitches, you start running your stitches, 2, the third one, perfect. So here I'm going to just run 3 or 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, perfect. So I'm going to flip like so, then use my needle to position this where I want it to be. So you can see what I'm doing. So once I'm done positioning, I continue. 1, 2, 3. Okay, the last one, perfect. Then I will close the stitch. Once I'm done, I trim out my excess threads, and then I'm good to go. So yeah, so see how it looks like. So another step is just to remove this. It will be hard for you to remove, but just take your time. That is why it is at the back. So just take your time and remove them. Take your time and remove your gum stay. So once you are done removing your gum stay, this is how it looks like. So what do you guys think about this? Are you going to try it, or are you going to go and use your buttonhole, or you do borrow? So another step for you to do is, if you want to open, don't open straight, so that you will not spoil the buttonhole. So another step that I do is, after creating my buttonhole, I will remeasure this. You can see I will remeasure this to know if I actually get what I want. Since they are of the same size, I'm going to use my pin. You can see and pin here and pin here, then bring another and also pin this end. So the next step is to bring your seam ripper. You put your seam ripper here and then you open. So once you open, you see what I'm doing. Once you open, you test. Can you see? Perfect. There is no much opening. You got everything perfect. Not too much space, just this is what I called perfect. You can see what I did. Then once you are done, you remove your pins. Another step is for you to use your lighter to fine tune here, not to give you a rough edge or to avoid the button stand or the buttonhole to fray. So I'm going to first open up all these buttonholes. So that's the first step I'm going to do. That's another step I'm going to do before I will use my lighter to finish up the work. So just take your time, don't drag, don't force, take your time to do this. The final step is I don't want to use what's it called, lighter, because I don't want to burn anything. So here it is. So I'm going to, you can see that I'm not using the front, I'm using the back. So everything you're going to be doing will be at the back. So you see, you open like this, and then you see what I'm doing. You open like this, you fold, and then you close. Then make sure that the rough edges, all the rough edges are gone. Just make sure of that, and then you are good to go. Okay, so that you guys can see exactly what I'm doing. You guys will see exactly what I am doing. Okay, I'm done with this. So if you are professional enough, you use the front so that the work will not be too much on you, and avoid burning your shirt. Avoid it. So you can see what I'm doing here. You can see exactly what I am doing. Oh my god, this is so neat. This is so neat. Oh my gosh.